This week, independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said he would be announcing his running mate on March 26th. The two names he mentioned as frontrunners were NFL quarterback Aaron Rodgers and the 38th governor of Minnesota, Jesse Ventura. I've run the numbers, and if a certain series of cataclysmic events take place at the exact right times, in the exact right order, there is 0.034% chance that Robert F. Kennedy will win the general election and then die seconds after he's sworn in, making Jesse Ventura the president of the United States. Chad, would you please interview Will as Jesse Ventura about what he plans to do as president in a Meet the Press style segment I'm calling Jesse the Executive Body Ventura? Hail to the body!
What has happened? Jeez, I don't. All right. So, okay.
There's a 0 point something percent chance that Ventura becomes the actual president if he is RFK's running mate and then RFK gets shot.
And the other one's, Aaron Rodgers. Hey, you know. Fucking weirder things have happened. Okay, why don't you tell me? Why don't you tell me? I live in the Baja.
Yeah.
I live in the Baja for 6 months out of the year. I live in Minnesota, and that's when I watch American media, American news. I don't own a cell phone. Yeah. Okay, I'm ready to go.
All right, you ready?
So you're
Yeah, this is like Meet the Press.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. All right, go on.
Longest running TV show in American history, I think. Welcome. President Ventura.
Yes, get it straight. I'm the president. I was the governor. I used to run a jackhammer when I was a little kid. I was in Vietnam. I was a Navy SEAL. And it's good to be here. I'm very happy to
It's great to have you here. If I may, I know you're a...
And I always thought that all politicians should have to wear those NASCAR suits with their special interests on them. You know, Jimmy Johnson, for the Lowe's team, he's got Lowe's. Sure. He's got Lowe's on his uniform, and then all the other ones.
If I may.
A lot of them would have to have, a lot of these politicians will have to have someone else because they'll run out of
President
room.
Ventura.
They'll have to have a subordinate on there with wearing more special interests on their suit. Go on.
Okay, so I know that you're big into UAPs, UFOs, all kinds of conspiracies in the United States government surrounding that phenomenon. What would be your plan on day one to get the CIA to cooperate with you to release all the UFO information that we have?
Well, that's very simple. They just tax them.
Tax the CIA?
Tax the UFOs. Make the UFOs pay taxes.
I see. How are you going to do that? What's your plan to that?
That's for me to know and for you to find out.
I'm trying to find it out by asking you the question.
Well, I'll tell you what we should do with the CIA so that they're playing by the same rules as all of us. They should run the O course like I did in the Navy SEALs. Have you ever run the O course?
No, I have not.
Well, I was on I had to run the O course, of course, and I wasn't even ready for it because I had to run in the, I came straight from the A course. Okay. And then I was in there. I didn't have time to practice. So when I did the course, a lot of the, I was doing the ropes and my drill instructor, Moy, he's still a good friend of mine. And afterwards I had these, blisters balloon out and I had them fill up with, water and I had my big blisters and he said, "Come here, what's wrong with your hands?" And I showed him I had flappers. I had my flappers out, and he looked at the flappers. He said, "Come here." I thought he was going to put, some alcohol or something to Bactine, and he ripped off my flappers.
All right.
He ripped off my... So if we get the CIA plans, in a room and we rip off their flappers, I'm sure they'd be willing to part with a lot of information.
All right. Let's
in
move
a
on,
debate,
if I may.
they would too. They don't have the balls to debate me.
Let me ask you this.
Neither does Aaron Rodgers. That pussy doesn't have the balls to debate. I'll whoop his ass like I whooped Greg Gagne's ass in 1981.
Okay. Question number 2 is, Mr. President Ventura.
Do you know who Greg Gagne is? His dad, Vern Gagne, owned and operated the AWA.
Okay. That's fantastic.
American
Let me ask you this,
Alliance.
if I may. There are a lot of presidents that, had famous pets. You had Clinton, had Socks the cat. George Bush Jr. had Spotty the Spaniel. I think Calvin Coolidge had a raccoon named Rebecca.
I think they were all named Socks. All of them were named Socks.
All right. Would you have a pet? in the White House? What kind of famous pet would you have?
Well, I'll tell you this. I don't know if you know this about me, but I live in the Baja.
I did
for
know that,
6 months out of the year. I don't even live in the continental United States, and there's not as many regulations, but there's a lot of laws. And one of the laws is that the gun control. You can't just own a gun and walk around with a gun unless you got to be damn near a government employee to have a gun, unless you're working with one of the cartels and you're a gangster. How am I going to protect myself? So I have protection dogs. I have 17 cane corsos. And I have some Rottweilers and bull mastiffs.
Okay, so you have a whole kennel full of these protection dogs.
But these are for protection. They live outside.
Okay,
it's not here like this little sweetheart we got here, little Lulio.
They're just roaming the White House.
Have you ever seen? Have you seen me in Predator? Do you remember?
Oh yeah,
yeah. You like Predator?
Love it.
I say that when I'm eating well, then you will know. Why don't you tell me what I say when I eat the chewing tobacco? I say this will turn you into a sexual Tyrannosaurus.
Yeah.
So I would like to have a Tyrannosaurus named Socks.
Okay, through some genetic engineering.
Yeah, some genetic. We'll bring them back. Yeah. Well, you could ask the CIA.
Right. I don't know
if you understand.
I don't know if we're there yet.
Well, the CIA must have.
But we could be. Which brings me to my next question. Do you see, or do you think there is a path forward for America to achieve a kind of utopian existence?
Well, why don't you tell me we're not in a utopian existence right now?
I don't believe we are, no.
What you have everything available on your cell phone that you could just do whatever you like. Sure. I don't even own a cell phone.
Is that true?
That is true. I don't own a cell phone. I never will.
Get one. I mean, I'm sure as the president, you'll have to have one.
Well, this is what I mean by utopia. We've got to find new ways.
Yeah.
Maybe we could have cars, everyone's worried about energy independence.
That's right.
Well, if you use the cell phones, you could have energy independence. You could have cars that run on memes and TikToks. And
that's actually a great idea.
Well, we have a lot of TikTok. We have a lot of people out here like you flapping your gums on a podcast.
Well, how about a podcast? You came on the podcast,
How about
Mr. President?
A YouTube video powered car? All the shitty YouTube videos and podcasts like Dudesy here. You could have Dudesy. You could have the Dudesy podcast could power your car. You don't even have to gas up.
That's a fantastic idea.
Betsy Ross sewed the first American flag out of marijuana.
Oh, I didn't know it was marijuana.
It was hemp.
Oh,
and that's what I would say we need to do is
that's pretty interesting.
Go back to nature. Let's go back to nature and make everything out of hemp and TikToks.
Speaking of a return or going back to nature, what do you think about the idea of a post-capitalist America? Capitalism is no more. We will get to that point. How do you see us transitioning into it?
I don't see us transitioning into a post-capitalist. That doesn't even compute with what I understand of America, which is probably a lot more than you, let's be honest.
You were governor of a state.
I was a governor of Minnesota. Yeah. And I think after post-capitalism or late-stage capitalism is later stage capitalism, even more capitalism. It's just the same capitalism, but later. There's more of the follow the money.
Right.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. When I was the governor, when I first won the election, it was because I was a talk radio host. And in the late 90s, in Minnesota, they had there was a $2 billion surplus in the government, and they used the money. I said, "What right do you have to use the money? That money should go back to us." I said on the air, "Maybe I should run."
Yeah,
and that was it. And I won, and no one's won a third party. They won't even let a third party debate. I tell you, I'd whoop that Aaron Rodgers like I did Baron von Raschke.
They barely let
hold on a second. He stole the claw from Fritz von Erich.
Oh.
Well, let's return it back to him.
Sure.
Let's get the claw back where it belongs. Have you seen the Iron Claw?
I did. Yeah.
I did not.
Oh.
I take issue with the guy who played Ric Flair.
I think most people did.
Yeah, it wasn't
President
very good
Ventura,
at all, was it?
I think that's I think most people did. Let me ask you about this. as the president, you'll have, sweeping power to do all kinds of things and make all kinds of changes in America. Are there any crimes right now that you would legalize?
Marijuana.
Yeah.
You got to read my book.
That one pretty much is legal, though.
I have a book, I think.
Yeah.
Marijuana Manifesto. I have a few books. Yeah. I haven't read them all.
But other than...
You read books. Why don't you tell me what we would legalize? Building codes.
I would legalize all drugs.
Me too.
If I was
you and
president.
me. I'll shake your hand the way... No, not one of these.
Oh,
Give me I met Fidel Castro.
Oh, nice.
I met Fidel Castro. The White House told me not to. I said, suck my cock. That's what I said when I was the governor. And Fidel Castro, he comes down like this, real hard with a shake.
Yeah.
He went like that.
He doesn't even let you get yours out of the holster.
He gets all the way over there with a handshake.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I'll tell you, I think we should legalize drugs. We should legalize no building codes. Yeah.
Wait, what? Don't you think that would be a little bad for people in terms of safety living in the buildings?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No, I don't. Why don't you tell me what would happen? I have a home in the Baja where I live out there. I have a home that no code.
Nice.
My home, I built it 100 feet out over the water with I-beams.
Yeah.
And on top I have balloons holding it up with helium, like the house in that Disney movie Up.
That does seem unsafe.
Let me ask you. Fist fights. They should legalize all fist fights. You could register them on an app.
That's kind of interesting.
A fist fight app, and the loser has to pay the taxes of the winner.
I like this idea.
Pay off all the bets.
Let me ask you about this. Obviously you are or were a professional wrestler. What do you think about this idea? I have a friend, Will Sasso, who would probably like this idea.
He's a fantastic actor. He's a professional actor by trade.
That's right.
And he likes all the best wrestlers. He has the finest taste in sports entertainment.
Well, let me ask you this. What do you think about initiating a national Hulk Hogan Day as president?
That's a terrible idea.
Why is that?
Because I don't care for Hulk Hogan. I don't like him at all.
So, but you can understand that he's an important figure in the world of pro wrestling.
Not more important than, I don't know, let's say Bruno Sammartino or even the Iron Sheik.
Okay.
Who God rest his soul, and Bruno. I was not a fan of either of those guys, but I'd put them before Hulk. I'm not friends with anyone that I can't trust.
I see.
And I don't trust him. As a matter of fact, I sued Vince McMahon. Not a lot of people. I'm the only. I sued him for royalties. Yeah. Because when I went off to Hollywood, I did Predator. I did The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I got royalties. I said, Vince, where's my royalty? And I sued him. And then
did you win?
I did. I'm the only one who has ever beaten Vince McMahon.
Oh wow! And
I told him. I said to Vince, I said. Because gross, he's coughing during a deposition because I got to depose him because that's what you do.
Yeah.
And my lawyer asked him because I tried to unionize. I think unions are great. Yeah. Vince McMahon says that everybody's an independent contractor. Bullshit.
Yeah.
And I tried to unionize, and in the deposition, my attorney asked him, did you hear that Jesse the Body wanted to unionize? Sure. He said no. And he said, where did you hear that from? Right away. He dropped it down. He said, Hulk Hogan. Right away. He sold him out.
Wow.
So I can't trust him. There will be no Hulk Hogan Day.
Okay. Fair.
I tell you what, there will be is a day to celebrate Socks the Tyrannosaurus and National Scrambled Eggs and Tortilla Day.
Okay.
I love nothing more than being down in the Baja. Do you want me to tell you where they came up with the Baja fish taco?
Baja?
That's right. That's where they came up with
the Baja Peninsula?
Yeah, the Baja Peninsula, because the Japanese fishermen out there, in the when they were fishing, they would sell their fish, the fishmongers, but they would keep the stinkiest part to themselves because they were smart, they were frugal, so they made the most money. Well, how do they get the stink off it? They would put it in tempura batter, and then they would fry the fish, and then somebody thought, let's put creme fraiche and salsa, and I don't know what psycho thought, let's put some fucking shredded cabbage on there, but it works.
Yeah, it does.
I like fish tacos.
I used to. Let me ask you about this. This is my final question for you, Mr. President Ventura. Artificial general intelligence is coming. We are maybe a year away from it, maybe less. Do you have any plans for America to pave that road into a future where artificial general intelligence is potentially even helping you govern our country?
I don't believe in it.
You don't believe it exists? Or
no, I don't believe that artificial intelligence even exists. I don't believe.
Well, it does. I don't know.
Well, prove it. Why don't you tell me how it exists? Why don't
you don't have a cell phone, so it might be hard. Do you ever use a computer or you look on the internet?
I don't use a computer. I'm computer illiterate.
Okay,
I'm going to have on my
president.
tombstone, I never used a cell phone.
Okay.
But I don't believe that what'd you call it?
Artificial general intelligence, or there's also ASI.
No, there's no general. I like Mark Milley. He's a good guy. He was a fine general. I worked with many, under the of course the military chain of command.
Well, definitely.
But the general intelligence is not one that I've heard of, especially an artificial one. I don't believe in it.
Okay.
And I do, and I also, I'll tell you another thing, that Aaron Rodgers, I don't give a shit if his Achilles heals. I'll kick his fucking ass just like I did adorable Adrian Adonis. And we used to smoke some pot together.
You would fight Aaron Rodgers in order to maybe become the president? Is that what you're saying?
I'd sweep his leg with a judo move, just like that, underneath his fucking Achilles. No, I'd snap his Achilles again. I'd come down. I'd take, I wouldn't even take that much. I would fake him out one way with a fish taco, goad him over here because he's, who does he play for? The Packers.
Is he not retired now?
He's with the Giants or the Jets.
He got traded to the Jets. They thought that he was going to be their savior this past year, and then he had a bad injury.
Well, why don't you tell
game.
me then, since you know so much about Aaron Rodgers? Maybe he could help you with his artificial Achilles general.
Every part of your military will be using it within the next 2 or 3 years. But
why? Since you're such a patriot, you know everything about the military now. Let's see your flappers. Do you got flappers on your hands?
Not anymore.
I'd rip your flappers off, and then I'd come down like Fidel, and I'd give you the all the way over here. That's how I'd do it.
All right.